Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 461 for the 30th of May. And let's start off with the biggest news, which is Kadyrov has received order for the Chechen units to be deployed and go on the offensive. I have done a quick update on this on the main channel. You can go and check it out. So I will briefly go through the detailed one. Will actually be on. You can go and watch the one on the main channel. So basically the Chechen units has been they have received the order to deploy, and according to the information, they have already in deployment already. According to the Kadyrov, saying that the combat units are already let's see where is it. Oh, should be further up. Yeah, they have been their first stage of operations has already been going on for several days. So that actually seems like they have took over from the Wagner forces, because the Wagner forces has left on the 26th. So they are currently planning and trying to gather intelligence. So they will be going on the offensive. The main information saying that the Donetsk People's Republic is their AO, their operations, their area of operations. So, but the way how they talk seems like they are in charge of the Marinka region as mainly, but yeah, still a bit vague. Then weirdly they also mentioned about they have Chechen forces, the Bakhmut units in Zaporizhia and Kherson region as well. So the entire message can be a little bit not clear enough, but we will probably see more information as they actually go on the offensive. My projection is they will still take 2 weeks. It will not be so soon, but take note, because they already prepared for several days. Who knows, they are very prepared and they can go on the offensive within the next few days. So he basically loudly declared with full caps the offensive of the Bakhmut units begun. So he basically dissed the Ukrainians for frightening the Russians for several months about their offensive, but never happened. So moving on to, over at the southern front, we have nothing over the Kherson region. Over the Zaporizhia line, we also do not have any information except at Velika Novosilka region. The Russian Defense Ministry reported shelling over at Velika Novosilka and Vremivka. The two cities or towns that are just next to each other, separated by the Mokry-Yali River. And over at the Donetsk front, the Ukrainians attacked Volodymyrivka. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, they eliminated or neutralized or actually just chased away one sabotage group, which is basically just an attack towards Volodymyrivka. And over at the Marinka to Novomikhailivka region, we have the Russians attacking at Marinka. They have also attacked Pobjeda. We haven't seen an attack on Pobjeda for a long time. And also towards Novomikhailivka. So information is coming from the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, Marinka, Pobjeda or Novomikhailivka. So depend on how you want to pronounce this. And over at the Avdiivka front, we have fighting reported north of Vodian towards Chechen, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, with the Russians attacking towards Chechen. So there is also fighting reported south of Kupiansk on the northeastern part of Avdiivka, and south of Kupiansk, the Russian forces are attacking in this area here, south. Information coming from Deep State UA, the pro-Ukrainian source. So most of this information now is all coming from the Ukrainian side. The Russians did not mention all these things. So this is why you need to cover both sides, because the Russians, even if they have this information, might keep quiet, because they will think that, oh, this is operational secrecy, So which is why cover both sides, you get the full picture. And over in the northern part of Avdiivka, we have the Ukrainians going on the counteroffensive in the eastern part of in the east of Novokalinovo. So wrong color. So the Ukrainians has been reportedly reinforcing this area for some time already. We have reported this as well, and now based using fresh reserve, they launched a series of counter attack to recapture lost positions. So the Russian forces previously was at these positions, and they managed to push all the way until here. So the Ukrainian forces is trying to recapture some of these lost position, particularly along this highway towards this Novo-Bakhmutivka. Moving on, there is nothing at New York front as usual. Into the Bakhmut front. At the Bakhmut front, it's really quiet. We have further down first. There's fighting reported by Deep State UA along the canal. There's this canal here. You can see this the canal. Yeah. And there is also fighting reported near Klishevka. The problem why it's in black is because they did not mention who is actually on the offensive, who is actually attacking. So this pro-Ukrainian source did not mention, so I have to put it in black because I have no idea if it's the Russians attacking or the Ukrainians are attacking, or or is it like this? No idea. Or maybe they are just positional, and then they are sitting there in positions playing poker, and then hope and then see who wins, who loses. Or scissors paper stone will work also. If you lose, I give you this trench. Scissors paper stone. Okay, this trench is now mine. That would be so nice, right? And shelling is being reported at it's actually airstrike reported at Ivaniske. This is reported by the York group of forces. They mentioned that they conducted an airstrike on Krasnoye, which is actually Ivaniske. And that's all from the Bakhmut front. And moving into the Sivas front, we have nothing at the Sivas front. And moving into the Kreminna front, we have shelling reported within the Serebransky forestry, with the Russians using the flamethrower system, the TOS-1A multiple launch rocket system that fires thermobaric missiles at enemy clusters of troops, which is Ukrainian troops. And then there's also shelling being reported near Kuzmine, according to the Russian Defense Ministry, and at Dibrova. So it's just a lot of shelling in the entire of the forest. This poor forest, evil Russians, they have no regards for the green, for the nature, for Mother Nature. Yeah, then shelling is also reported at Liman. This airstrike conducted by Sukhoi 34, according to the Russian Defense Ministry, reported by the Center Group of Forces. And Yampolivka also received some love from artillery and Air Force striking at Yampolivka. So shelling is reported in here, and here. So yeah, no offensive. The Russians are basically just in the Kreminna region. Their main job nowadays is mainly just shelling and airstrikes, taking out as much Ukrainian forces as they can. No clear offensive except the ones northwestern part of Bilohorivka, where there is an alleged Russian push in this direction, and allegedly wanting to do some encirclement, which I don't think will work because there is a river here. There's this river here, which basically protects the Ukrainians from the Russians fighting within the Serebransky forestry. So yeah, but the pro-Russian source like to get excited about this. They make it sound like as if that can be used to flank the Ukrainians. I don't think it can. So, and moving further up north into the Svatove front, we have fighting at Novoselivske. This is reported by the Russian Defense Ministry. They in their report, this is very unusual because usually they will report it as artillery shelling, but they say Zapad group of forces hit units enemy close to Timkovka and Solovskoye. So which means that it is some kind of a ground offensive from the Russians attacking Ukrainians. Maybe it's in position, so maybe it could be positional fighting, but they did not mention the details, so we are not so sure. And moving into and also of course, as I mentioned about Timkovka, so this area is Timkovka, just south of Peshotravneve. You cannot find this Timkovka on Google Maps. This is actually, I found this from Russian mapping. And over at the Kupiansk front, in the northern part of the Kupiansk front, we have the Ukrainians recon forces attacking Russian forces near Sinkivka. Probably this forest line which the Ukrainians really hate because the Russians are sitting there. And over at Masyutivka, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported fighting west of Masyotivka. This is actually very unusual because the Ukrainian Defense Ministry usually don't give directions. They only say near or at a location. So they are very specific, talking about west of Masyotivka. And Masyotivka, this, yeah, whatever this is, maybe this is Masyotivka, these two little buildings. And if you talk about west of it, it's just a river. It's clearly impossible for the Ukrainians to hold this position with the back against the river. So we're talking about west means this salient here. So there's a certain some high ground over here where the Russians actually managed to take over. Previously, it was a Ukrainian defensive position. The Russians have crossed the river and taken over it. And the Russians seems to be holding defensive positions around here for some time already. And the Ukrainians allegedly say that the Russians are attacking west of Masyotivka, which I don't think so. I think it's actually the Ukrainians are actually doing the attacking. And as usual, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry project what they are doing on the Russians. Yes. And yeah, so the fighting, this is also interestingly mentioned by Ryba. The pro-Russian source say that the Russian troops are successfully holding a bridgehead on the west bank of the Oskil River near Masyotivka, and this has actually already been the case for weeks. So I wonder if the Russians would know, if the Russians actually have some pontoon bridge around here. I'm not too sure, and if are they able to expand their zone of control in this area? Also not so sure. Anyway, that's all from the Kupiansk front. And moving into the Kharkiv front. At the Kharkiv front, there is a report from the Ukrainian Defense Ministry saying the Russians, DRG, the Deep Reconnaissance Group, basically reconnaissance forces or scouts. In case you do not know what is reconnaissance, scouts. These Russian forces attack Zeleny. So they crossed the border and attacked Zeleny. But the Ukrainians probably eliminated them or chased them back, and the Russians are probably back into their own border region now. And that's all from the Kharkiv front. And that is the summary or the SITREP for the day of 461 for the 30th of May. And do press the like button, subscribe if you're new to this channel, and I'll see you in the next update.